Now, we've got a brand new book that was released on the 1st of April. It's called Fire Eye. We've actually got the author on the phone all the way in Tasmania today. His name is Peter du Plessis. Welcome to the couch this afternoon.
Hi Fred, pleasure to be with you.
What takes you to Tasmania, Peter?
Well, I moved down here with my parents decades ago, let's say 4 or 5 decades ago. It almost makes me a local, but I think I've got still a while to go before I can count myself as that.
Fantastic.
My father worked with an engineer and moved down here to work with the zinc works.
Fantastic. Now, you've written a brand new book, Peter. Tell us about the book called Fire Eye.
Right, well, Fire Eye, it's my first novel. I've written quite a few articles to do with aviation, flying, the outdoors, survival and so on. The book was on my bucket list to write. I had this thought of writing a book, a thriller set in Northern Australia to do with aircraft lost during World War II. And then I was issued a challenge by a lady to write a story that captured the emotion of a woman driven to the very edge of survival after being in an abusive relationship. I could see the potential to combine that story with my urge to write a thriller set in Northern Australia. So that's how the book came about.
So is it based on a true story?
It is the character of Alexandra Dulain is in fact based on a woman, and I know a lot about her story.
Okay.
The book contains a lot of things that have actually happened, and I've been able to use a bit of literary licence and combine all those together.
Yep.
And weave a few threads of fiction in there to create the story.
Now, the missing plane. Give us a bit of background. How did the plane go missing? Where's that story come from?
Okay. In 1942, there was actually a mission that started in Brisbane, and that involved about 14 aircraft that flew all the way through Darwin into the Philippines behind the Japanese lines, and they were trying to help the Americans slow the Japanese advance. It was a fantastic mission. Unfortunately, a week later, the Doolittle raid on Tokyo took place, so that mission was sort of lost into history. It was the first time aircraft had been deployed over such a vast distance, and it gave an indication of what would happen over the next 3 or 4 years. It was a great story, so I added an aircraft, a B-25 Mitchell bomber, to be the centrepiece of the story. And Carl, the pilot of that aircraft, he gets left behind in the Philippines after the others have left because he has to refit the long-range fuel tank, which actually happened to one of the aircraft that was over there. And on the way back, he's attacked by a Japanese Zero, heavily damaged, wounded himself, and manages just to get the aircraft back to Australia for a glide, a forced landing, the crash somewhere in Northern Australia.
Now, a little bit about yourself, Peter, as well, because you've explored mountains and jungles for a very long time. What's that all about?
I have indeed. Since my early days at university back in the 70s, I've been exploring mountains, the deserts, the jungle. I've tracked down some of these aircraft myself in Northern Australia. In my early days, I worked for the Deer Colour, the National Parks Board in New Zealand, up in the high country of the South Island. That was a fantastic experience. Yeah, so I've been doing it on and off for a long time.
So you're probably living it through the book as well. Tell me, Peter, with the book itself, where can people get it if they would like to buy it?
It's been distributed by Dennis Jones. They are starting to distribute it through bookshops around Australia. For example, Dymocks have it. They're a nationwide store. It's also available online. All you have to do is type in Fire Eye and Peter du Plessis, and up it comes.
And we've got a link on the web, on the screen at the moment as well. Thank you very much for being part of the show today. Are you likely to write another novel, another book?
I've actually started one.
Yep, what's that about?
It continues the saga of the characters Jed and Alex. There is much more between them that could be sorted out, because they're two very similar personalities, strong personalities, independent. So there's a bit of conflict there and tension. But that could be sorted out, and I have no doubt they would easily find themselves tied up finding another lost aircraft in Australia with a lot of history to it.
Looking forward to reading more than just the back cover, because I haven't had time. I only got it a couple of days ago. But thank you very much for being part of the show today. Good luck with the book. It is called Fire Eye. Peter de Plees is our author today. Thank you, Peter, and have a great time in Tassie. And I hope that maybe it becomes a movie one day.
Oh, who knows?
You never know. Thanks for being on the show today. Good luck with the book.
Thanks, Fred.